celebrity drama?
Drew Sidora, they're giving the vibes as if she's dating Portia's ex.
Oh my God.
Check. Music, movies, and viral moments.
Gabrielle Union came out and said that she was doing 50-50 with Dwayne Wade. I have that audio just in case you didn't remember, so let's listen to that.
Check. Exclusives. Come on, y'all. Y'all know I got that over here.
Whatever Lauren says, Lauren, yeah.
The show with all the hot takes, zero filter. Welcome to The Latest with Loren LoRosa. I'm Loren LoRosa, and I'm going to be bringing you guys where pop culture meets personalities. And over here, baby, we are doing all the things. Give me my tens, because we're going to have a good time.
Like, we back. We back. Episode, we episodes, and y'all, welcome. Let's start with the clap. Y'all gonna hear my bracelets today. Insane. I have these bracelets on, and they're by a brand. I believe this is a black-owned jewelry designer. I'm into black-owned everything, like fashion, jewelry, like whatever I can get, baby, run me down. Let me actually take these off so y'all won't be hearing it all episode. But yes, welcome on back, y'all. I'm Loren LoRosa. This is The Latest with Loren LoRosa. This is your daily dig on everything pop culture and all the conversations that shake the room. The home girl that knows a little bit about everything and everybody is back again. I would say that y'all miss me, but y'all be hearing me every day. So, okay. But today, there is so much to get into. I actually have been, normally when I come in here into the studio, Patrick is here, and we are getting ready to tape and record the audio. Yesterday, we did an audio exclusive, audio only episode for our audio listeners. So make sure if you are not subscribed, like if you're watching this video but you have never listened to me on the audio side only, try it. Go over and listen to that as well too, especially because the episode before this, where I broke down some exclusive details that I had on DeMar DeRozan and that physical altercation that he got into, and Lil Durk wanting to get his murder for hire case dismissed. I have some details. I done reached out and talked to some people, but you got to be an audio listener to get that. So go on over there, take a listen to the episode. But I appreciate you guys for being here with me. And like I was saying, normally when I come in, we are ready to go. But today, because there was so much going on with like Shannon Sharpe, and I'm reaching out back and forth on, those allegations that just came out, and attorney here and attorney there, it took me some time to get my ish together. But I got a great show planned for you guys. I'm so excited to get into it. But before we get on into it, because I didn't get to talk to them yesterday, Patrick, how you feeling? How was your trip? Tell the people where were you? I don't even know where you was at.
I was in Atlanta doing some work.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta. I'm going there this weekend for the Black Effect Podcast Festival. I will be hosting the creators conversation, that stage. I love Atlanta. Atlanta is so fun. I always have such a good time when I go there. You said you was working though.
Yeah, a little something for a client. Saw some family, and
Did you get outside?
Not really. I just met up with a few people, but just mainly focused on work.
Baby, one thing I'm gonna do when I go to Atlanta, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna figure it out. But baby, we gonna have a good time. Atlanta's one of my favorite places in the world to party. It's just so black and so brilliant and so money. Like it's just, I love Atlanta. I have a good time there.
How you feeling though, Lauren? How you feeling?
I feel good. I feel really, really good. We've onboarded a few more members to the team. So, things are building out. Things are growing. I feel busy, and that is such a blessing. I'm in great spirits. I have no complaints. I'm feeling like a boss today. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had like meetings this morning and just onboarding people and sending out contracts, like just doing all of the things. I'm like, wow. At one point, I remember a minute ago, I did this podcast setup and it's on my YouTube channel and it looked great. Shout out to Devontae, who's one of the Devontae Ellison, who we brought on to the team here, but he's virtual. We have been doing the Brown Girl Grinding podcast, and I was like, no deal, solo, independent artist, hustle vibe. And it was like just me and him. And I was like, yo, I wish I had money and a way to figure this out and a team. And now we back again, and we ain't got all of it, but we got, we got some coin to be able to pay some great creators and people, and things are up in it. And I feel like we found our voice. And I've said this multiple times, but I think we where we need to be when we need to be there. So that is very exciting to me.
Back on the grind.
Now, before we get started, as I was telling y'all, normally when I come in here, I'm able to get right to it, but I couldn't do that today. We're going to do a little check-in. We want to know, how is everybody feeling? Patrick, how you feeling today?
Feeling amazing.
Very exciting to me, y'all. Thank y'all. Shout out to y'all. Let's clap it up for the viewers, the listeners, all of the producers and the writers and the creators in the comments who be throwing little, you know what I mean? Hey, I think this, I think that. I interact with y'all. I see y'all, and y'all are our community. So shout out to the low riders. I'm feeling good, okay? Feeling good, looking good, period. Now, let's get on into the latest because, baby, there is a lot to talk about today. Loren LoRosa with the dockets, okay? That's what they about to start calling me because y'all know I love to take y'all to court. Now, today, we're giving y'all the latest on Shannon Sharpe. Now, they trying to make out to be the who don't know what no means, which is crazy. So there is a woman who is accusing Shannon Sharpe of sexual assault. Specifically, she's saying that he violently raped her and mentally and at some points even physically abused her. That is what she's alleging. And because of that, she is asking for $50 million in damages. Now, this $50 million breaks up into a bunch of different things, and we'll get into that. But this woman, her name is Gabriella Zanaga, and the reason why I know her name is because Shannon Sharpe came out and responded to the lawsuit and specifically named her like, all right, we're going to do this. Let's do it. Y'all want to play ball? Let's play. Boom. Here's who we talking about, right? When the lawsuit was filed, it was filed Sunday night in Nevada by attorney Tony Busby. You guys will remember attorney Busby because he has had his name on some of the Diddy cases, that case with Jay-Z that got dismissed. When they filed it, Sis was listed as a Jane Doe. And then Shannon Sharpe came out with his response and names her directly and then gave some more details. Now, in her lawsuit, she is saying that she was raped multiple times and she was emotionally controlled within a 2-year relationship. She does admit, and she says that, at some point in the alleged rape, it was anal rape that actually went down. Like, it was very physically violent is what she's saying. Now, she does admit that there was a relationship at some point, that it was consensual, that her and Shannon Sharpe had met when she was in the gym. She says she was 30 years younger than him. She was about 19 or 20, 30 years younger than him. And he said to her when meeting her, like, okay, if you go win this weight loss contest with me, I'll buy you some new titties. That's how he came on, and she said that, she wasn't too interested, but they did exchange numbers, and eventually she gave in, and they met up and they hung out and, all of the things. Now, there was at one point where she says that the first time that she went to his house, she came there and he answered the door, didn't even speak to her, just walked upstairs to the bed. So she followed him because she didn't know what else to do. And they had their first sexual encounter there. And she says that, like, he put his hand around her neck and, she's alleging different things from the start. Then she says that next morning, there was a whole situation that went down. She says that next morning after that situation went down, Shannon Sharpe left at 4 a.m. because he had like a media hit, and this is all alleged. He had a media hit or something like that he was going to do, a media event of some sort. And he told her that she had to leave because he was leaving and to be back at 9 that night. Now, again, the first encounter, she's not saying that he raped her the first encounter. What she's saying is that things were, they were aggressive. She then says that she comes back again and she shows up at 9:05 versus the 9 o'clock. And she alleges that Shannon Sharpe got pissed. He was going off. He was berating her, calling her all types of names, calling her outer names, all different types of things, right? Now, then she says at that point, they begin having, a relationship, even though he was violently threatening her, telling her, different things he would do to her if she ever played with his time and disrespected him because she showed up late to his house. They did continue a relationship of some sort. They're in Vegas, both at the same time at this point. And she says that they were even together during the whole Instagram live, allegedly the woman named Michelle thing, which really pissed her off because she's like, yo, we supposed to be together. And she's like, this is how he would control her. He would lie about not being with other women and things of that nature. So she didn't want to be with them anymore. She tried to cut him off. There was a time where she says after this, she had actually met up with him and she turned on her phone location just so her friends could know where she was at because she had told him that she didn't want to be with him anymore. And she alleges that Shannon Sharpe was pissed off about that. had threatened to do things to her and all of the above. So she turned on her location. When she turned on her location and he found out about it, he threatened to kill her. He told her to not ever do that again, allegedly. And she alleges that Shannon Sharpe said, "I'll kill you if you do that again." Right? Now, she then says specifically this incident is what led to him raping her. And this was one of the times that he had violently raped her. This happened back in January of 2025, according to these documents in which she's alleging, which is very recent. Now, his legal team is strongly denying all of this. They're calling it fraudulent. They're saying it's a blackmail attempt. His attorney said that they are ready to fight it in court. He also, Shannon Sharpe and his attorneys in his statement, they put text messages into the statement, not the actual screenshots, but they word for word tell us some of the text messages to show to show a consensual relationship between the two. There's conversations about, her wanting him to put a big black baby inside of him, which is low-key problematic because this is woman white. Because the way she keeps saying big black baby, I feel like this is a white woman. And I don't know if that turns some people on, but it was pissing me off. Like, why the baby got to be big and black? I know Shannon Sharpe is big and black, but it's like, all right, like, you're birthing a baby, not an animal. Okay, sis, relax. But I'm not here to argue about whether I think race, because people do that race baiting thing sexually and it turns some people on when they interracially date. None of my business. That's not even what we're here to talk about. Let's get back to what we're here to talk about. But yeah, so she alleges that, so Shannon Sharpe is alleging, like, she would send things like that. She would text him about, other sexual encounters and different things that she wanted to go down and things that she was open to. There was money conversation at one point in time where she talked about, $25,000 for both, butt cheeks. The conversations get crazy. But importantly, he mentions that there was a point in time where there was a video that is being brought up from her attorneys, and this video allegedly shows a non-consensual sexual act between Shannon Sharpe and this woman, right? Now, the woman, she's alleging that he would record her and that she caught him doing it, even though he would try to be low-key with it, but she was scared to say something about it just because, in the moment, she didn't want to ruin the moment. Also, too, at this point, he had already kind of gotten upset with her and gotten, she was scared. But Shannon Sharpe is saying, there's this video that we've been shown, but the video was fully consensual. But the way that it has been edited it doesn't read consensual, and it's edited like that on purpose. So he's saying that he allegedly asked her attorneys for this fully unedited video and that they couldn't produce it. And because of that, he feels like all of this and everything that she was doing in the video and all that stuff is going to be used to blackmail him. And again, she's asking for $50 million. It's now the public opinion is swaying here. Like, there are people that are like, oh, I wouldn't even say there are people. It is very few people that I've seen react to this that are on this whole, believe a woman when she first says it, which is sad because you do want to be able to believe. I'm a woman. I feel for women. I feel for people in general, not just women and men. I feel for victims when they are being victimized, when they are being controlled by people of, money, stature, age, power, all of the things. And that is how this lawsuit is set up. They are making Shannon Sharpe out to be this man who was 30 years older than her, more wealthy, physically bigger. He had all of the power. He had all the control. She's not a celebrity. He is, right? I feel for anybody, if in that situation, is actually, and truthfully being victimized because of those things. I don't know what's true and what's not here. I can only report what is being said. But the majority of the public opinion here is not swaying to let's believe this woman. And we're going to get into that because y'all know we do the segment where we take y'all to the internet, to outside in the streets what people are talking about. And I want to have a conversation about that before we get out of here, but I'm not going to do it right here. So we will be back here to have that conversation. But when I mentioned that $50 million earlier, I wanted to tell you guys how that was broken down. So this woman is saying that, she suffered a lot because of this. So she wants $10 million in general damages. She wants $10 million in special damages. She wants $20 million in punitive damages. And she wants $10 million in statutory penalties. She won her good $50 million. It was all good. About a week ago, Shannon Sharpe was being celebrated, and the conversations were happening about the fact that allegedly he is in conversation right now for podcast deals over $100 million. Now you got that's half the $100 million. $50 million, that's half the $100 million right there. Now, again, he has denied all these allegations. I have reached out to Attorney Busby on these claims, who is the attorney that filed these, because a lot of people are calling cap on this. They're like, yo, I don't really know. This don't feel right. This that same attorney who did A, B, C, and D. This the same attorney who just had a case dismissed when it came to Jay-Z because things wasn't adding up right. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get to for the tweets in the streets. You know what I mean? We're going to take y'all back outside. But I want y'all to know I did reach out to Attorney Busby, and I did ask some of the hard questions. Like, hey, look, people aren't believing this. The public opinion is not in your favor in this. Here's what's being said. People feel like this is coming up because that $100 million conversation was just had. Shannon Sharpe is mentioning specifically a video that he is saying it has been altered, that you will not provide a full unedited video of allegedly. And it's being altered to blackmail him allegedly. What's going on here? Can you provide context to this? What is your response to this? I'm not going to give you guys those answers because I want you to take a listen to this when we talk about it on The Breakfast Club. Those I will be exclusively, I'll be revealing them on my social media. So I'm Loren LoRosa everywhere. But we'll talk about this in depth more on The Breakfast Club. So if you're listening to this, make sure you go also check out my coverage of this on The Breakfast Club, where you will exclusively hear Tony Busby's response to those questions that I asked. You can also find that on my social media as well. Moving on. Because the latest, you know what I'm saying? We're going to keep y'all up to date on what's really happening. And right now, if I'm giving y'all the latest on anything, we got to take it to the movie theater, y'all. We have to go to the movies because Sinners just dropped. Sinners is a horror film starring Michael B. Jordan by Ryan Coogler. And baby, I've seen the film twice. The first time I saw the film, I was preparing to interview Ryan Coogler at The Breakfast Club. It was my first time meeting him, my first time interviewing him, but I've watched his interviews. But I'm going to tell you guys, again, I said it yesterday in the episode yesterday, being in conversation with Ryan Coogler in person is like a gift. Like, you are enriched. You don't even have to say nothing. That man is so brilliant and just so eloquent and just so the way his mind works, the plethora of knowledge that he has, it's just like, dang, this is so fire. But he's still really one of us. A lot of times when people gross a certain level of success or stature or astuteness, they're not us. You don't feel them though. You feel like he's a different type of brother. Okay, I don't even know how else to describe it. When I saw the success of the movie, I was so excited for him. And I mentioned to y'all in the episode before this one, so please go take a listen, that I would be talking about this. And I talked a little bit about the conversations I was having on Twitter around this movie and what made me upset. So before we get to that, let's talk about the opening weekend that Sinners has had. So the opening weekend placed Sinners #1 in the box office. They made $48 million domestically and $63.5 million globally. $19.2 million domestically just in the opening day. And that number was actually captured before the opening day even closed. This made this the second biggest opening day for an original horror film this decade. But this also made this film the biggest debut in post-pandemic history for an original film. And Ryan Coogler and the cast earned a rare A cinema score. This is the first horror film to do this in 35 years. You don't even gotta say nothing, y'all. Like, that is so fire. And Patrick, you said you didn't go see the movie, right?
Not yet.
You gotta go see the movie. I've seen it twice, and I want to go see it again because I think it's one of them things where, like, you gotta watch it a couple times. Not that you don't feel it and you don't get it the first go around. I know sometimes with certain movies, like I know when Jordan Peele does movies, I don't even get it the first time sometimes. Or if I do, it's like I get one thing and I'm so caught up on that, I miss a lot of the other stuff. This movie isn't like that. You digest it like. So I digested this a lot easier and better, even though it was horror and it was scary, and it was suspenseful, than some of Jordan Peele's movies right off the bat. But it is like that. You do have to go watch it a couple times. Now, unexpectedly, this movie dethroned a Minecraft movie which released April 4th. And when I say it dethroned it, I mean that it it took away a Minecraft movie has also been making history in the box office and reaching these heights, and then Sinners came along. So Minecraft did $40.5 million their opening weekend domestically, and they have grossed to this day a total of $344 million globally. Now, mind you, by the time you hear this, depending on what day you hear this, that could change. And a Minecraft movie is predicted to make more than $700 million globally, right? Now, I want y'all to really listen to this part. So Sinners needs to make at least $200 to $225 million globally in order to break even theatrically. I'll say it again. Sinners needs to make $200 to $225 million globally in order to break even theatrically. So the money that was put out to push the film to do everything that they needed to do, globally, that's the number that they need to return, right? Now, this movie has surpassed a Minecraft movie already, numbers-wise, right? A Minecraft movie is predicted to make $700 million globally. A Minecraft movie is in 76 international markets. Sinners movie is in 71 international markets. Now, the conversations that people are having right now around Sinners pisses me off because instead of people just talking about what the film will do and how amazing it is doing for the opening weekend, the very first day, the very first day, 24, not even 48 hours, you had these mainstream media outlets, and I'm putting that in quotations for the people who cannot see me because it's like mainstream media to me today has changed. It's not just the varieties of the world, the deadlines of the world. It's now the TikTokers, the streamers, me and what I'm doing, y'all getting on Twitter and having a conversation. That's mainstream media. That's culture. That's what moved things. And that's why this movie is doing so damn well. So it pisses me off when things like this happen. So I'm going to read a tweet from Variety. This happened early in the release of the movie. Variety released this headline on X. Sinners has amassed $61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film, yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses. So profitability remains a ways away. Y'all, they hadn't even closed out Sunday. They hadn't even closed out all 72 hours of the weekend. And these were the headlines. Every time they talk about black movies in the theaters, instead of talking about how well they're doing, they talk about what is not being done. Let's talk about what's actually happening here. And if they not going to do it, I will. So let's talk about it, right? So I saw some people upset, and I wanted to get on here and have a conversation about that because what Sinners is doing outside of hitting all the marks we talked about earlier, making all of the money, making Michael B. Jordan look damn good because, baby, the muscles were muscling, okay? Michael B. Jordan, and I don't know if it was like the muscles with the guns and the action but Michael B. Jordan was giving it up, okay? He was looking good. Real good, okay? No beaters. Them beaters had stood no chance. Like, yes, do that. Period. It's crazy because black girls really have a language. Like, we really, really do. Like, all the black girls who just heard me say that, y'all can understand exactly what I mean, even without seeing him. Patrick, do you understand what I just said, even without seeing him?
Of course.
Period, because that's just how it go. But okay, so let's talk about what it did do. There's multiple conversations happening, but I'm going to focus on 3. So the Bible thumpers right now are having a conversation, as they always do anytime a black horror film drops. The black Bible thumpers come out, and they start having a conversation about black magic and witchcraft and vampires and, darkness and the devil and all of these things. And I get it. I was raised very traditionally in a very black traditional church where, as I was watching this, I was like, my grandmother would be pissed at me sitting in here watching this movie right now. But when you look past it and you actually watch the movie and you understand why the vampires are there and like what the conversation is around the devil and, black magic and all the spells and those things that even, things coming out of New Orleans and, like just all of that, like the spell, like not even spells. What is it? I feel like she wasn't doing voodoo though. Y'all, I don't want to give y'all the movie, but like, I think when they start having a conversation around black magic and a lot of those things in the movie, you really honestly just begin to see our healing power, like especially strong Black women in faith, like strong Black women rooted in spirituality and in faith. They always emerge as being the leaders of their relationships, of their families, of their communities, and they're often overlooked. What they do is often overlooked. It's often mocked until it's like the world is exploding. I think we saw you will see, if you have not watched it yet, and if you did watch it, you see that storyline play out, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give it away. But it also dives into like, the struggle with God that I think Black people have, especially Black people in poverty or in really hard situations. They're always asking God why. Like there's a lot of loss in this film. There's a lot of like, we had to fight, we had to kill, we had this, we had that. So God and the conversation around that, it's like everybody's trying to get away from God in this movie. And they're trying to find something, whether it's money, whether it's love, whether it's wholeness, whether it's a friend group, whatever. And it all comes back to, at the end of the day, the person who is the main character in this film taking us right back to God. And I thought, I'm like, yo, if the Bible thumpers, I mean, I know it's hard to watch, but if you could get through this and kind of see that in it, it honestly goes with the message that we hear all the time. We hear stories in church about, the devil being the devil and the bad things and like whatever, but you hear the perseverance in that as well too. And I feel like that's what the vampires kind of showed. It was like, here is these bad people who are doing these bad things, but because of, it's like a cause and effect. Because of that, people are coming together. They're having a fight together. They're realizing who really is there for them. They're realizing what happens when you know what I mean, give your power and your energy to the negative thoughts and the, all the stuff that the devil tries to wrap you up into, especially when you're doing well and you figured out something, you figured out a way to make some money and maneuver. I also thought that, there was like such a Black versus white conversation in this movie. The white passing conversation was like one that I think a lot of people didn't really sit with. I think a lot of people just saw Black versus white because that is very prevalent in the movie, especially before the time period that the movie is during the Jim Crow period. So especially during the time period the movie is placed in, where the movie is placed, and that is very prevalent. There's a lot of like leaning into Irish culture as well, and it made me like Google the Black struggle and the Irish struggle. And I started to like dive deep into Frederick Douglass and Daniel O'Connell and like, just some of the similarities there. And I don't know, it makes you, if look all that up. I learned so much. Like it really made me like not, I would never say that anybody that is white or, white passing understands, I wouldn't say white passing, but anybody that is white, I would never say that the way that they had to endure certain things, whether it came to discrimination or not having certain laws or just not being accepted by certain communities, is anywhere near what we as Black people have gone through and go through to this day. I would never say that. But I think in this film, and I don't know if this was intentional, I wish I'd asked Ryan this in the Breakfast Club interview, but it's like you don't want to give it away. But in this film, you really get a sense of like, if we had all just figured it out and worked together, could it have been better? Because at one point, the white people weren't fooling with this little set of white people, this set of Irish people, right? And they were pushed away. They were this, they were that. They were able to assimilate back into culture way differently and come up, of course, and that's a conversation for another day. But it was there for them too. So even with, certain people of certain, backgrounds choosing to be so Black versus white, when in reality, there are sectors of these cultures where it's like, y'all weren't accepted either. They wasn't fooling with y'all either. To the point where they bring the KKK into this. And I'll just give y'all a little spoiler. So spoiler alert. Some of the evil people that are Irish, they even lean into the fact that they had to bring in a member of the KKK and kind of warp this person so that they had an inside man, because they wasn't fooling with them either. Nor were they fooling with us this whole movie either. So it made me look up that. And again, I'm not comparing the two because Black is Black, period. And you can't tell me nothing about what we dealing with if you look like a white man. White men, you know what I mean? Period. You just can't tell me. It's just not happening. Like I said, but it made me look up these things, and I'm trying to figure out like what Ryan Coogler's point in that was, and honestly, it made me want to do more research and more reading around that. And I love films that do that. But the white passing conversation, it brought that up a ton. because the ability to just kind of like move in and out of different cultures and different sectors, different music, different energies, different, you know what I mean, struggles versus non-struggle, and to turn it on and turn it off. The ability to do that, it comes back to, you know, backfire in this film really heavily, like extremely heavily. Y'all gotta go see this movie. It's hard to even talk about it right now without even getting into it. It's really hard to talk about it. But I will say though, like the way that mainstream media covered this movie, I think it's not going to do anything but help it, because you do have some mainstream media that's doing everything but doing everything like talking good about the film, even though it's downplaying it. But for me, it made me want to go see it even more, because now I wanted to surpass, right? And even people like, yeah, Ben Stiller, right? So Ben Stiller sees a tweet that the variety tweet that I read to you guys earlier, and he reposts this and says, "In what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline?" Because they basically were pointing out what the film hadn't done versus talking about what it did do. And y'all, the film that it's being compared to has grossed way more than what this movie needs to hit. And it's only been out for like 3 or 4 days. I got to move on now because it's so hard to talk about the film without giving y'all the film. But please go see Sinners. If you have seen it already, drop below in the comments some of the conversations that you picked up from the movie. There's a lot more. Like, I was in the movie, like, writing down, like, a notepad of just different things I wanted to research, and, like, just so much stuff. Just so much stuff. Now, last up, one of my favorites, and just for time's sake, we are going to, zone in. I had, like, 3 clips from this next topic that I wanted to get to, but so much here. Tracee Ellis Ross, y'all. Tracee Ellis Ross sat down with Michelle Obama and her brother, Craig Robinson, on her In My Opinion podcast, and she talked about so many different things. She got really candid about just being a woman who is 52 years old, who does not have a husband or a partner that we know of, and you know, she's okay with that. No kids, no husband, no, you know what I mean? And she's figuring out her life. So she talked about a bunch of different things. She talked about the fact that she only dates younger men because they're more open to different things, and people took that out of context. Please go watch the interview. But one of the things she talked about was, you know, are you okay with me standing alone? Can I be a star in the room and you be okay with that? And her struggle to find a man that is okay with that. Let's take a listen to that.
You have this aura about you that if we're going somewhere, and the same with you, we go into a room, we might not be right next to each other.
We're not going to be couple to couple.
We're not going to be couple to couple.
You go one
Are you
in.
Okay with me standing alone? Because I can stand
question.
alone.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay.
I love that question. That was her question to you, or your question to her?
That was one of her questions to me.
It's a great question.
That
was
the one.
Now, I chose this because I feel like the dating younger, you've seen that all over your timeline by now. If not, we'll be let me know. We can bring you back here. We can discuss it. But for time's sake, I wanted to get to what I wanted to get to. Basically, what Tracee Ellis Ross is talking about in this interview is the fact that as a woman of her stature, at her age, men her age have this ego about them. And they also come from a time of like very traditional, like the woman has this traditional like role in the household, role in the relationship, just these things that you can't break down. Younger men, she feels like, are more open to different things because they've come up in a different time. Now, the younger men she's talking about would be like probably men my age, if not a little bit older than me. So for me, it's like I understand what she's saying, but I feel like it depends on how a man is raised. I meet men my age, men not too older than me, that do still feel like a woman like me who is very opinionated, who doesn't want to just sit at home and have babies and don't have a career, I'm going nowhere in life. Like, I am thinking about life completely wrong. And she says that too. She says that, you know, a lot of it is about how you're raised, what you come from, what you've been through. But of course, they don't add that clip in. But I thought that this clip that we just played was so important because I think it sets the tone and it summarizes what the conversation is. It's like, here's who I'm coming to the table as. Can you accept this? And y'all, when I say like in dating, y'all know that I've been trying to figure out this whole like dating thing. And, you know, I think more recently I have come across, you know, I've come across some really good situation that has made me realize that like, it's not even about, like at one point I used to feel like with my job and with what I'm doing, that is always going to be hard. It's always going to be hard for me to find somebody that allows my star to shine, that supports my star shining, that just feels like and understands that sometimes it's not even my fault. The way that people receive me is not even my fault. It's just a thing that happens. And when you're a woman and you're an attractive woman, you a lot of times when you get with men, especially, because a lot of, as a woman, you want a man that can lead you, that you can sit back and kind of, you know what I mean, passenger princess it up and all of that. If you find a man that is able to do that, there are stipulations with that. You know what I mean? You got to watch what you say. You got to watch where you at. You got to watch who you around. It's just so much that comes with it. And these are the things that Tracee Ellis Ross is talking about. I think you can encounter them at any age, in any profession, but specifically when you're a woman of, career stature, financial stature, you're in the public eye. It's like men can handle that. Like it's like you're the shiny thing. Like they want it, and they want to prop you up on this pedestal, and they want you to sit there, and they want it to shine, and it looks great, and it's such a great conversation, and it's a notch on their belt. But when it comes to really dealing with you and what comes with that and understanding that, they not up for the challenge. They're not emotionally mature enough. They're not secure enough about themselves, about what they have going on. And then that turns into other things. That turns into them having to deal with you and other women to low-key almost try and humble you and to make them feel good. That turns into them having to be a certain level of control, which is not healthy after a certain point. And it just gets real, real bad. And I always felt like, there's no way that I'm going to find a person who understands all of this and is also emotionally mature enough and all that to support it. It's going to be I'm going to have to pick or choose. I'm going to have to find somebody who completely knows nothing about any of this and just be okay with the fact that when I come home at night, they might not even understand what I'm talking about, but they just love me. But they're so unfazed and they're so disconnected, they don't feel intimidated because they're not even paying attention to it anyway. Because if I get someone who understands it, who sees it, who knows it, or who is experiencing it for themselves, it's going to be intimidating. Because I'm doing it and I'm doing it well. And you want that as a woman. You want somebody that can match your energy. I want somebody that's doing well too. But I don't know. It always gives a man wants someone that's doing good but not better than him. And even if not better than you, because I'm okay with not doing better than my man. I'm okay with doing a little bit better than my man. As long as my man can execute and get to where he's going, we good. Men are not really giving it up like that. It doesn't feel like that anyway. It's always felt like that recently. And more recently in dating, it's always felt like you're going to have to settle a little bit, sis. And I think settling now when you meet the right person and you're dealing with the right person isn't about settling for those things. I think settling in those areas where you have to either be with someone who's super insecure and dumb yourself down, or you have to be with someone who's so much more successful than you that they look at you as less than, so they're okay. And then even as your star starts to rise, you got to kind of try to slow it down because you can't surpass him. But when you find someone who is able to kind of be that middle point of the two, where it's they're really successful, they're doing really well for themselves, but also too, they're not intimidated by you. They want your star to shine. They want you to be an equal partner. They know how to lead and are not intimidated. It changes the game. And I can tell by listening to Tracee Ellis Ross that she's been trying, but she's kissing some frogs. Been there, done that, sis. I feel for you. I do. It is hell because you almost start to feel like it's not my fault that I'm what am I supposed to do? Bad for myself? Bad all by myself forever? No one wants to be with them by themselves forever. I don't care what nobody says. Nobody does. Felt her in this conversation 100%. So heavily. I will say now that I'm kind of getting over that hump of okay, I'm outside, we single, I'm looking for the hoes. I'm kind of over that. Now that I'm getting over that and I'm starting to take more time with the people that I actually am, you know what I mean, interested in, and there's I'm centering on a person and we, we're having these conversations. I do think that it's a work in progress on both sides. It takes a lot of communication, a lot of transparency, but it's a lot of work. And I think that's another thing too, is man or woman, you got to be willing to do the work. And from what I'm inferring from the conversation Tracee Ellis Ross had with Michelle Obama, the people she's meeting, they're instantly intimidated by just her big life. She's also Diana Ross's freaking daughter. It's what you gonna do for her? It's how most men are probably looking at it. Where realistically, it's small things. She might enjoy just a walk in the park, but you look at it the wrong way. But the right people will communicate. They'll figure that out. They'll learn you. They'll learn what you love, what you need, and be able to anticipate that. And it's all good. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm in a good place about this whole like dating thing, and I'm in a good place about it. I don't know what else to say. I'm in a really Patrick. Why you laughing?
Because I'm happy for you.
Oh, what you happy for?
Because you said you're getting it right. You got it together. So
Oh,
that's good to
okay.
hear.
All right, because yeah. Yes, but please go listen to that conversation, y'all. Now, as we wrap, I'm going to take y'all outside to the streets, because y'all know we got to get in the tweets.
You for the tweets.
We outside. Outside in the tweets.
Every other page I go.
Now, in wrapping all of this, because before we get on out of here, right, I don't even know what we would have learned today. But before we get to that point, I do want to take y'all to Twitter because I think it's something interesting is happening right now. And I want to ask y'all a question. This is an unbiased question. So lowriders, listen up. When I tweeted the Shannon Sharpe lawsuit, it has almost 200,000 views. There's a lot of conversation happening around this. I want to read to you guys 3 replies that sum up majority of the replies that I saw on my Twitter when I posted this. So FlyMoney_ said, soon as they said he was getting $100 million, this comes out. Shaking my head. Brennan Jaguar says they've heard about his new deal. There has to be a way to go after these frauds. So this person is alleging that this woman who was accusing Shannon Sharpe of sexual assault is a fraud. T. Jones says they heard he was nearing a deal worth 100 M's, and how ironic this accusation appears asking for 50. I want to ask you guys, do you guys think that because of the culture right now where you have, and again, we don't know whether this woman accusing Shannon Sharpe of these allegations is telling the truth or not. Nothing has been proven in court or anything like that yet. Removing it from this conversation, but using this conversation to spark this question I'm about to ask you guys. Do you guys still believe that believe all women is right? I think we have finally come to a point where people are wanting to have this conversation, but men can't do it because it sounds like victim blaming. Women can't do it per se because when a woman is telling the truth, we do want to believe her. And I will stand by that. Like if a woman is telling the truth about something, I'm going to believe her, right? But when she's not and it is damaging, it ruins someone's life. So really, really, really real question for you guys. Lowriders, please make sure you tweet me about this. You Instagram, you talk about this on your Facebook and tag me at Loren LoRosa everywhere. Is believe all women still right? Is that still culturally something that is right? Or do you feel like culture is shifting right now because of these, lawsuits that have come out that have been dismissed, where evidence has shown that, things in these cases weren't as sturdy as they seemed to be when the headlines broke? I would love to hear how you feel about this. The consensus from what I'm feeling after tweeting this lawsuit is like, dang, like people came out instantly. Normally with these things, when I'm tweeting about these cases and I'm talking about them, it's divided. You see people on both sides and they're debating, and people on both sides always have their points, and I listen to all points. But this time around, people were very quick to be like, hold up, wait. And I think, of course, attorney Tony Busby doesn't have the best reputation in the public eye right now because of, the things that were lacking thereof when it came to the Jay-Z allegations and that sexual assault allegation. I think that plays a lot into it. But I want to know how you feel. So let me know. I'm not going to answer it. Patrick, I don't know. Do you have an answer to that? Do you feel how do you feel about that?
I think nowadays with all that evidence, people are looking for like the evidence. They're looking for all that stuff before they
want to hear fact.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And when I say that, it's like, it's not that I'm asking, is it not okay for women to come out if they're sexually assaulted? That is not what I'm saying whatsoever. What I'm saying is, are the days where we take a person and we crucify them before we know all of the facts legitimately, is that over? And if it is over, is that right for it to be over? tweet me at Loren LoRosa. I want to hear from you. I'm Loren LoRosa on Instagram as well. I want to hear from you. And I mean, normally this is a time where we talk about what we learned from this episode, but it's been so much. It has been a lot. I don't know. Patrick, you got takeaway today?
I don't really. It's a mixed bag. I don't.
I think it's just, people are really wanting to get down to the facts of the things. From the first story to, Tracee Ellis Ross talking about her dating and trying to figure that out and just really wanting to know who a person is, what they stand for. Can you handle all of this, baby? To, sinners and people were pissed off about these headlines because it's like realistically and factually, numbers-wise, Ryan Coogler out here killing it right now off that movie. Let's talk facts. Now the Shannon Sharpe allegations. The people are like, wait, hold up. Ung did what? Shannon Sharpe did what? Let's get down to the facts. I'm Loren LoRosa. This is The Latest with Loren LoRosa. At the end of the day, I always tell you guys, y'all could be anywhere with anybody talking about all of these things, but you are right here with me. And every single time you are, I truly appreciate it. I'm the homegirl that knows a bit about everything and everybody. I'll see you guys in my next episode.